Are double standards ever okay?
I think it's okay for men, because men. I mean, there's a double standard there. Men can sleep around, and that's a basic double standard because you get more respect if a man sleeps around than if a woman,
Yeah.
right? So I just think you have to take it personally. That's your double standard. So if you're gonna say no, it's not okay. I'm gonna sleep around with the men. Every action has a consequence. So when you decide to do that, whatever consequence happens, whether it's bad or good, you chose that.
What is I agree with you. What is the consequence for men sleeping around, and what's the consequence for women sleeping around?
I think for men sleeping around, they find it hard to settle, and they're always looking and looking and looking.
Yeah.
And then sometimes they might sleep themselves out the market.
What do you mean by that?
Like, especially if you've got a small group, you'll find that sometimes the men have slept with all of them. It's like you slept with all your peers, and like, what you going to do now? You know.
Well, on social media, like everyone, it's a global marketplace now. You can
Yeah,
always find
so,
someone new.
but, but how often is a man going to say, like, all right then, I'm going to go, all right then, you can go on the internet now, you might meet someone down the road that you don't know, but not worldwide. So eventually,
Okay, I
you
see what
end
you're
up
saying.
messing around in your own mess,
Yeah.
But for a woman to do that, it's like, I think it's the respect level. Nobody's going to respect you. And you do it now. That's what I always tell people. Don't have sex. Don't have sex. When you're young, because I know a lot of people are going out there like, yeah, I can have sex. And I was talking about cheating and all this, but at the end of it all, I don't understand what is so hard to believe. The men don't want women that sleep around.
Long term.
So who are they sleeping with? Women. So if women stop sleeping around,
It's true.
then eventually the men will get what they want and the women will get what they want, which used to happen. But now everybody's saying, well, yeah, we're all going to sleep around. But the men are out there saying, we don't want these women that sleep around. So why? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, the men want the women who sleep around, the men who are looking to sleep around.
Yeah, but they don't want anyone to. I'm talking about settling down and having a
Settling
relationship
down.
to
Yeah,
build.
yeah.
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 It's best just to take it off the table and let them little messy people that want to sleep around with each other. Eventually, it will just, if everybody didn't have sex and waited for relationships and built on it, then eventually the lot that sleep around becomes smaller and smaller and smaller, and then perhaps it go back to the way it was.
I agree. I agree that the issue is, I think the trouble is, let's say you get the guy who maybe he can get multiple women, right? And then he meets a girl, and let's say the girl's like, okay, I want this guy, I'm not going to sleep with him like that, right? Which I always advocate for.
Yeah.
However, I think if she just says, oh, I'm not going to sleep with him until I'm in a relationship, and I think this is because of the way dating is today, he will go, well, if she doesn't want to sleep with me, then she's not attracted enough to me to want that. Because we're more sexually liberal now, and people's intentions are shown through their actions, then it's very easy for a guy to interpret, okay, I've been seeing her, we've been talking for a few months, she's not slept with me. I've been talking with this girl for a month, and she has, and it's been great. It's like, well, clearly this girl was more into me than this one. So if a girl just waits flat out, just like, we're not going to have sex until a relationship, do you not think that could then actually stop a guy from investing in her, because he will then take that as, oh, she's not as into me as she needs to be?
No, because they haven't dated with the intention. Because a lot of people have sex but don't talk about it.
Yeah.
And if you talk about it before you have it, then it make a big difference. A lot of people wouldn't be able
It's
to.
hard though.
Why?
That's
It's hard to take off
awkward.
your clothes. But women nowadays, they would take off their clothes to anyone, but you won't talk about having sex.
Well, I mean, like, even happens that even I've heard women say, oh, they were afraid to say no because they felt it would be awkward. So they just rather have sex with him rather than saying no.
Then women need to spend more time with their fathers.
I completely agree.
I have no problem saying no.
Yeah.
My dad always told me that nobody can make you do anything you don't want to do. And you can say whatever you want to say. It's your mouth. And that comes back to haunt him now when he's talking to me. I'm like, remember, it's my mouth, Dad. You can't tell me. And he's like, yeah, I remember that. So,
That's
yeah.
good.
And I think that, and when I say dating,
Yes.
these are all the things you're supposed to be talking about before dating, while you're dating.
So when you say they should talk about sex, what does that look like? What does that conversation look like to you?
Oh, my conversation with my man, I remember dating someone and I said, at what age do you expect to stop having sex? They had a number and I dumped them.
Wait, say that again. What?
What age do you expect to stop having sex?
Never.
Right, but he had a number, and you can understand why I dumped him.
Oh. Yeah. What did he say?
Right. I think he said 60 or 65, something stupid like that.
Is that too early or too late?
There shouldn't be a number.
Oh, okay, good. I was like, God.
They shouldn't
I was
be,
like, there's an age to stop?
There shouldn't be a number.
Okay.
And that was one of the things that is sort of on my list, like the dating thing. Like, oh yeah, so when do you expect to start having sex? It was like, yeah, and I thought, no, it's all right then. I just can't see no more. You got an age, you got a number.
Okay.
And that's what I mean. You need to talk about sex. You need to talk about it because you're going to be doing it.
Okay, so let's talk about a girl who started dating a guy. They've not had sex, been on a couple of dates, right? What's the conversation that they should have about sex?
I think they want to know what kind of sex he likes.
Okay. Yeah.
How often you want it.
Oh, how often?
Yeah.
And so you think all of this should be disclosed before
in the beginning,
even having
before
it?
you have, then you know.
There's an argument to say that is there not part of the fun of finding that out through having that experience with that person?
Then how many experiences are you going to have if it don't work the first time? You're going to go date somebody else and have an experience with that person again, it don't work. You're going to have another experience with somebody, it don't work. I'd rather know that we had all these conversations and then we got into a relationship and like so many years down the line, maybe it didn't work because of something else. But even then, you're supposed to work at it together, so it shouldn't end.
But then I would say, for example, let's say you got into a relationship with someone and then let's say 4 or 5 years, let's use the frequency of sex, for example. You're having less sex and let's say he's unhappy about it. It would then be on him to be like, look, babe, I love you, I care about you. My needs is not being met here. So you can make adjustments along the way so long as you have open communication.
Yeah, you're supposed to talk about it. Talk about it all the way through. I'm just thinking about sex, sorry. But you talk about it all the way through. You have to talk about it all the time.
Here's a question. Should a man ever ask for a woman's body count in the beginning?
Nah, I don't. Because they don't really want to know. Nobody really wants to know.
He might want to know.
No.
If it's over a certain number, he might want to know.
Let me tell you, my man wanted to know.
Does he know?
And I told him, and he didn't believe me. And the thing was, because of the way I had lots of male friends. And so he thinks it's way higher than it was.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he's like, but what, I saw you with this one. And I was like, yeah, this is my friend. We used to hang around. And he's like, nah. And I'm like, I've been open with you. I've told you, everybody. And he just finds it hard to believe. Yes. Because and not only, sometimes men lie. Because I even had to get a guy and
sometimes
I had to like sort of like threaten him and record him because he said that I slept with him and I knew that I hadn't. And so I had to get him in his own and record him apologising to me. And I said, hang on a minute. So when we sleep together, we were just hanging out.
Yeah,
you know. And,
that's true.
So then afterwards, I only hung out with married men or men who were in stable relationships.
Yes.
And I went for a stage where I was just hanging out with married men. And men say because their wives knew me, their children knew me, their partners knew me, and I was not a threat because I'm not that type of person.
Yes.
But they had lots of other people that were like that would be after their men. But yes, I think body count. No, I don't think you should ask.
Should she know his? Should she ask his?
It's always going to. No, I don't think you should.
No.
Because for some women, the men's is always going to be lower.
As in his
body count's going to be lower than the woman's.
Than what he said. Oh, than the woman's.
Than the woman's, yeah. So I don't think they should ask because they don't want to know. You might want to know now, but I mean, it's been like 32 years. He's still got issues with it, you know. He's like, yeah, what about this one? I saw you go into the storeroom with the person. You was taking time. I was like, yeah, because we were sorting out the stock.
You had your fluorescent underwear on.
That's what it seems to be. You know, because like I said, I was with men, so the way I dressed, and because I was always with men, but he was also part of the group.
Right.
But he seems to think that, yeah, you went off with this one. And I was like, no.
No, it wasn't even like that.
No, I wasn't. I just enjoy male company.
Thing is, I think men would want to know. I think men want to know the girl's body count for him to see that it's not too high for what he's looking for. I think that's why men want to know.
I don't think it makes a difference. I don't think all the body counts. I don't really think it makes a difference.
You don't think it makes a difference at all?
No, I think that if you don't know, then you can just go ahead because you picked her. You picked her to settle down.
But that's why though, because someone's, and this goes for men as well.
Yeah.
But someone's history can be a good predicator on how they're going to be moving forward. So if you have a guy and he's cheated on every single relationship,
Yeah.
and you find this out, you're going to think twice about if you want to get into a
But
relationship
that's
with
cheating.
him.
That's not body count.
Yeah, but statistically, the higher sexual partners you've had, the more likely you are to cheat.
But only if you know about it. All right, then. If I said to you, like, you see me as Auntie Jenny, everybody says Auntie Jenny, you think I'm level-headed. If I said to you, like, for instance, if I said my body count was 200,
Yep.
would it change your view of me?
As a potential long-term partner, yes, it would.
And would you change it as a respect for me as Auntie Jenny?
No, you mean like right
No,
here?
right here, right
Oh,
now. If
well,
I said
no.
to you, oh, it was like 200.
Oh, no.
So,
But if we were dating,
yeah,
and I was considering you long term,
yeah.
and then you're like, I've slept with over 200 guys, I wouldn't.
Don't forget, you've got to the point where you want to take it seriously.
But here's the thing: it might not be a deal breaker,
Yeah.
but it would make me go.
And by the way, I haven't had 200. Yeah.
250, no. And I think this is the case for a lot of guys, and they're afraid to voice this, but it is true.
Yeah.
It would make them go, is that long-term material?
Pow.